Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time.
So today, we're diving into a book so many of us grew up with, Louisa May Alcott's Little Women. But we're going to look at it a little differently, not just as a beloved story, but as a kind of field guide to a really powerful social system, specifically the 19th century American blueprint for what made a good woman.
And here's the thing, this isn't just a history lesson. The logic of this system, its rules and its rewards, it still quietly echoes in our world today. It shapes our ideas of gender, of duty, and even success. So to really get it, let's start with the book's central driving conflict.
Okay, first up, to really see how this system works, you have to understand the fundamental tension that pulls at every single character in this book.
And you have to remember when this was written. It came out in 1868, right on the heels of the American Civil War. So while it's this incredibly cozy story about life at home, it's happening against a massive backdrop of national crisis. And at that time, ideas about duty, sacrifice, and the importance of home, well, they were more powerful than ever.
And this one line from Jo March just says it all, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got her own desire to be rough and wild, to be out in the world doing something amazing. But on the other, there's this huge weight of expectation to do her duty here, right at home, and to become a little woman. That struggle, that is the engine of the whole system.
So, if that's the conflict, how does the world of this book propose to solve it? Well, the answer is kind of counterintuitive, and it's really the core idea we're digging into.
See, the logic in Little Women is a real twist. It suggests that true freedom for a woman isn't found by rebelling and breaking all the rules. No. It argues that real freedom is found by mastering yourself. It's about achieving fulfillment and respect by learning how to practice disciplined self-control.
And this isn't just an abstract idea. We see it play out so clearly in that incredible scene where Marmee admits to Jo that she struggles with a terrible temper too. She wasn't just born this perfect, patient mother. She had to learn it, to practice it every single day so she could be the right example for her daughters. Virtue here isn't a gift, it's a skill you have to work at.
All right, so if we're talking about a system, that means there are rules, right? Let's break down the actual patterns of behavior that get rewarded in this world.
The first rule of the game is this constant drive for moral self-improvement. Every one of the March sisters has what they call a burden to deal with, whether it's Meg's vanity, or Jo's fiery temper, or Amy's selfishness. And their main job, the work they're supposed to be doing, is taming those flaws. It's not a hobby, it's their central duty.
And next, you immediately see how ambition works differently depending on your gender. For a young man like Laurie, the world expects him to go off and do something splendid. But for the girls, their ambitions, their big dreams, are almost all pointed back toward the home.
And this isn't just about feelings, it's about survival. Meg lays out the harsh economic reality of it all so perfectly here. Men get to go out and work to make a fortune. For women, the main path to security is through marriage. When she says it's a dreadfully unjust world, she's not just complaining. She's basically describing the entire economic system she's stuck in.
So, where do you learn all these rules? Well, it all starts at home. The March household isn't just a house, it's the main training ground. With Marmee as this loving but very firm instructor, the family itself acts like a little government, teaching the girls exactly how to behave to succeed in the outside world.
And this right here, this is the prize. This is the ultimate goal the system sets out for them. The highest possible honor isn't about public fame or personal wealth. It's about becoming the wise ruler of a happy kingdom at home. This is what you get for playing by the rules.
So if you put all these patterns together, a clear picture emerges. It's like there's this very narrow path, and as long as you stay on it, working on your flaws, aiming for a good marriage, listening to your family, you are showered with love and praise. You can absolutely step off that path. Jo wants to all the time, but you have to know it's going to be costly, both socially and emotionally.
But what does that cost really? What's the price you pay for staying on the path? Well, this is where it gets fascinating, because we have to look at the author herself and the huge gap between her life and the stories she wrote. So let's talk about Louisa May Alcott, because her own life was pretty much the opposite of the path she laid out in the book. She never got married. She was a financially independent writer who supported her whole family. She was a vocal feminist, and even the first woman in her town to register to vote. Her real life was a radical departure from the system she described.
I mean, just look at this side by side. It's wild. Alcott stays this fierce, independent writer her whole life. But her creation, Jo, has to give up her thrilling stories and gets married. Alcott fought for women's rights in the public square. but Jo's great work becomes to cheerfully live for others. It just shows you how powerful that social pressure was, that Alcott felt she had to give Jo a conventional ending that she herself rejected.
So when you reframe the book this way, as a kind of instruction manual for a social system, it makes you ask some big questions about today. How much have these 19th century ideas about female duty actually stuck around? What kind of life do we consider splendid for women now? And what paths are still lined with the most praise?
And I want to leave you with this line from the book, which describes Jo's final purpose. The novel frames this as her greatest achievement, a noble, beautiful sacrifice. But the question just hangs there, for us as much as for her. Is a sacrifice like this a triumph, or is it a tragedy?
For the full, long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.